Good morning, everyone. Let me just do that so I can hear myself. I am on a walk with Hunter, my dog. It's actually very fresh, but quite a beautiful kind of fresh. It is winter here in Australia. Well, in Melbourne, I should say. It's been a bit fresh. Yeah. So today is Wednesday, the something of July. Semester starts again next week, so I'm back to teaching. I have a pretty okay load this semester. I'm teaching Tuesdays an intensive, so it's from 10:30 to 5:30 I'm teaching, and then Wednesdays I'm teaching 11:30 to 2:30 potentially, and then Fridays I'm teaching 8:30 in the fucking morning. But I was okay with that. Last semester I did 2 classes that started at 8:30, and when I have an 8:30 class I have to leave home around 6:15 just to make sure that I'm on time. And waking up that early kind of killed me because the autism babe. Waking up, being tired, and then having to be around a lot of people and perform because, I'm teaching, and then be around colleagues, and there's a lot of energy. So I was just energetically dead. Let's just say that. Anyway, so my day started off great. I had a 2-hour meeting. I'm part of the workload committee this year, which has been really interesting because I find how the university runs really fucking fascinating. By university, I mean more like sort of academic side of things. And so being part of the committee has been kind of a great learning experience for me. And I would like to be on as many committees as possible because I was the student representative for higher degree by research students, which just means like masters by research or PhD. In my years, I think 2 years running, I was the student rep on the school level and then student rep on the college level, and it was fucking so fascinating. So I like to be part of this, and yeah, I'm more on the quiet side because I find it really difficult sometimes to process things in the moment and then articulate my thoughts in the moment. So I find it, for me personally, I typically do my thinking afterwards. I think it's also the autism. So the rest of my day is going to be content planning. I'm just walking my dog to the oval and no one's around because it's around lunchtime. Sorry if the wind is a bit crazy. It's quite cold. But yeah, there's typically no one around, so I don't feel as embarrassed talking to my phone by myself. Yeah, welcome to another day in the life. Oh, this might be a week in the life. Who the fuck knows? Or the rest of the week in life. We'll find out. So today is just going to be doing more admin work. I sent quite a lot of emails while I was in the meeting because I've been on leave for a few days and it was so good. Y'all, I haven't had proper time off in so long. I got really sick during the Easter break and I still had to teach an intensive class that was running, but I was able to change it to my class being online because I was so sick I could not leave the house. And as I was teaching, I was also fucking dying because I was coughing so much and just really feeling horrible. My students would be like, oh, RIP in the chat. It was quite funny and hilarious. But even when I was that sick, I wasn't able to take time off because I still had to fucking teach and no one else could teach it. So it was really nice to have a couple of days off. I'm definitely thinking of taking more time off in the sort of break when my students are on placement. So I think I might try and broach that subject with my amazing manager whom I'm so lucky to have. But let me tell you, I've read a lot of books, babe. It's been so good. I kind of went on a bit of a hyper-focus thing because I was like, well, this is going to be really the only time I have dedicated to essentially doing nothing before the chaos of the semester begins. And I'm coordinating 2 subjects, so that just means even more chaos. So because of that hyperfixation moment, I read 4 books in basically 4 days or 3 days, 3.5 days. And I will talk more about them when I get home from my walk. Hunter is just chilling. Can't really see him the way that I'm holding this thing. Oh, so cute. He's my baby. But yesterday, oh my God, he drove me insane. He was just so whiny. If he doesn't get his way, he bullies me. And he knows he can get away with it. That's the problem. Anyway, I'm going to continue on my walk with my dog. When I go on my walks, I listen to an audiobook. At the moment, I'm listening to The Origins of Totalitarianism by Hannah Arendt. Yes, I know it's a very light subject matter, very cozy, very casual. But I started reading it a few months ago, and I love reading theory. I'm an academic, for God's sakes. Like, I love reading theory. I read Judith Butler for fun because I love the way that they articulate their thoughts. Oh my God. I read Orientalism by Edward Said in full for the first time last year, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself because it was just interesting and engaging, and I like to be intellectually stimulated. That's why I have the job that I do. But for some reason, I am struggling. Can we go this way, Hunter, please? I am struggling to get through the density of The Origins of Totalitarianism. I really am. Like, and I don't want to submit to the pressure of like not being, no, we're not going that way. We're going this way, babe. Like, I will finish it. And it is really interesting. I'm just finding it really hard to engage and read it. So I've been listening to the audiobook instead, which has been helping because physically reading it has been kind of a trial. And I don't know why. Anyway. So I'm making my way slowly through this book. It's fascinating because Hannah Arendt wrote this in the aftermath of World War II and the Holocaust, and kind of mapping the historical trajectory of how Nazi Germany came to be and how Hitler came to be, but also talking about Stalin and etc. And again, like the origins of totalitarianism. And she's talking about it, I'm just like, we're living in this again, right? Especially with the rise of the sort of Trump's version of fascism, which I think there has been sort of conversation around Trump's fascism leaning more towards totalitarianism, sort of what that means. But I found sorry, the glare is insane. But I'm finding also just like how Hannah Arendt is talking about what sort of the governments do. Oh, Hunter, I think you just stepped in something. What sort of governments do to ensure their power, and that's, misinformation, disinformation. It's also sort of rewriting historical narratives, blaming specific groups of people for issues of, economics and sort of social stability, which we're seeing now. Sorry if my hand is going a bit crazy because I'm just holding you up. But yeah, so that's what I'm kind of doing. So I'm going to continue walking and listening, and then I'm going to go home and figure out what I'm going to eat for lunch. But I also need to go pick up medication. So potentially I could just go and get lunch at my cafe that I love. Oh, the world is my oyster. I'll touch base with you. He just shitted and then sat in his own shit. I don't want to talk about it. Don't mind the dust, but oh my god, it's 38,000. Oh my god. That's insane. I'm now on my way to get some lunch and pick up my medication. I am back. That was actually a very productive little journey outside the house. I got my smoothie. I found when I had my stomach ulcer, which has healed this year, a couple months ago, I had another gastroscopy and it wasn't there. So fingers crossed it stays that way. I just need to make sure that I'm just taking care of myself. Anyway, but this was like the first smoothie that I found that was ulcer friendly, because I couldn't have certain things because it would aggravate my ulcer. So this is called your tropical green smoothie. Don't ask me what's in it because I forgot. But anyway, before I get back into my work, I wanted to talk to you about the 4 books that I read from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 5 days. That's not right. It wasn't 5 days. Oh, Friday I didn't read. Well, let's just do 4 books in 5 days. Let's just, whatever. Even though I read most of these in 4 days. The first book that I read and finished, and I want to apologize because I'm not doing a reading vlog for this series because I'm not reading it fast. I'm just going to read it whenever I decide to read it. Like I'm borrowing them from the library. So apologies for that. I think I talked about it in my last vlog anyway, but I finished The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. I really enjoyed this. It's really strange because like, even though technically it's is this a good angle? I don't know. Technically it's the 4th book in the Mistborn era, Mistborn worlds, but it's book 1 in era 2. And it feels very much like the first book in a series. That's what I'm really going to say. I feel as though, yeah, a lot of it was just setting things up. I am interested to see how the story builds and grows. I honestly think that the fact that it's so short in comparison to like literally any other, like this is book 1 of Mistborn era 1. Like, look at the difference. I think for me, the fact that it's shorter, I kind of didn't feel as invested. I didn't feel as invested in the characters. I didn't feel as invested in the story, in like the overarching purpose of like why we're doing this, like what is happening. I feel like Mistborn era 1, the why was very clear. The characters had a purpose and they were building towards this purpose. This was not yet super clear as to what that point is. We kind of, I think, get it towards the end, like building to something. But yeah, I'm just a bit like not fully in love with it, but really excited to see what happens because I do love Wax. I do love the main character Wax. I really do. I really love reading fantasy from characters that are older than fucking 20. Like, I want more fantasy characters in like their 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Like, give me that, please, because it's just so much more interesting. So I loved Wax. I loved him. I think he was really cool. I know that we don't really see much of her, but I also kind of like Steris. She's like essentially kidnapped for most of the book, but I like the little bits that we get of her. I'm like, I see you, babe. I see you and I like you because I relate to you, bitch. So she was really interesting. So this was the first book that I finished reading. And then the second book that I started and finished. I had to. This is The Secret of Secrets by Dan Brown. This is book 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Book 6 in the Robert Langdon series. So, okay. Robert Langdon. For me, if I want a fun, propulsive, engaging story that I know I will get that with a Robert Langdon book. I had a lot of fun with the Da Vinci Code. I had a lot of fun with Angels and Demons when I read them for the first time years ago. I also had fun with The Lost Symbol. I have to admit, I think Inferno was fine, but it was with Origin that I'm just like... Anyway, but don't get me wrong, the Robert Langdon series is 100% a self-insert fanfiction for Dan Brown. Robert Langdon is constantly the most impressive person in the room. You know what I mean? Like, every woman wants him. Every man wants to be him. He's just so smart and so sexy. Like, it's always about his strong chest and, you know, he like brings Catherine closer to him using his strong arm. Like, it's just... Anyway, so what this book is specifically about is Robert Langdon is a +1 to his friend's sort of lecture, and his friend is Dr. Catherine Solomon, who is like this big scholar in the field of like, I don't know if it's neuroscience, but like consciousness studies, that sort of field. So she's invited to this very important sort of European seminar series, and she gives a talk and she asks Robert to come with her. They obviously quite quickly, so like we're introduced to the story after the lecture has already been done and after Catherine and Robert have spent like a week or two together in Prague. So this entire fucking book happens within 24 hours. I just want to say that. I kind of feel like I have to spoil this book. I'm sorry. I just need to rant about it, okay? So if you don't want me to spoil this for you, then just go ahead until when I'm not holding this book up anymore. Okay. First of all, in the beginning, it's established that Catherine is like a huge person in her field. Like, she is quite a successful scholar. She's, you know, published so much and her reputation is sort of like global, like, you know, this sort of very important, that she's very important person, I should say. But then it's like Robert is like, oh, but you know, I organized her publishing deal. I introduced Catherine to my editor. I did that. It's like, but if she would have just written the proposal and sent it off, because of how famous she is, anyway, I feel as though sometimes it's so against like Robert Langdon and I guess Dan Brown beliefs of like women can be important, intellectually equal, and sort of powerful in their own right without Robert. Anyway, And then at Catherine's own fucking lecture, this huge deal, this huge thing, it's like this, it's absolutely huge to have been selected for this. Like, you have to be invited. Like, it's a huge deal, right? The start of her lecture, she like says a bit, and then she's like, oh, we have someone special in the audience, Dr. Robert Langdon. And it's like, and so like, she's like, Doctor, can you tell me the most, you know, religious, like the biggest religious symbol in history or whatever? And it's the halo. And so he just goes on like a 10-minute lecture at her own lecture about halos and radiant crowns. And it's like, can you just let her have her moment? Please. Anyway, the reason for this, like, the story is so stupid. I'm sorry, it's such an overreaction and it's so dramatic and it does not make sense, like, when you actually start thinking about it. So Catherine is writing a manuscript and she's essentially like finished it, and she told her editor, hey, can you read it? I think I'm finished my manuscript. And the editor's like, cool, we'll get to it. Unbeknownst to Catherine and the editor, the CIA have just been like quietly watching her because of her research. Now, you find out that Catherine and her sort of, was it her master's thesis or her PhD thesis or some sort of thesis that she wrote, which was then like put into a sort of award thing back in the day. Like, we're talking like 23 years before. And this particular award is known to sort of be like overseen by governmental agencies so that they can sort of recruit people for them. Anyway, this is what happens. They don't recruit her. They kind of just watch her, but then use her research for their own sort of intelligence gathering situation. Now, the head of this particular department that is in charge of this particular project that is being constructed underneath the city of Prague is, sorry, my eyes hurt, is the kind of department that is responsible for like watching Catherine and making sure that she doesn't really, I don't know, spread information about what the CIA is potentially doing. But how does Catherine know? Catherine doesn't know. Anyway, so because she tells her editor to go ahead and start reading and like editing because she's finished writing the manuscript, the department head, Finch, is like, execute the plan. And it's, so because he reads the manuscript. First of all, they hack Penguin Random House's manuscript server thing to get the manuscript. They hack it and delete it. And then Finch reads it to make sure that like nothing scary is in it. It is. That's when he's like, sound the alarms, we need to wrap this up. And Catherine's in Prague, like, what the fuck's going on? So the US Embassy then bugs their room and like essentially orchestrate. This is all the CIA's fault. And it's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's like, wouldn't have just like a conversation with Catherine have completely, like, this didn't have to happen. Maybe have a conversation with Catherine and be like, hey, you include this in your book. Now, because of national security, we're going to have to ask you to maybe not do that. And then Catherine would be like, why? And you'll be like, it's not your problem. Like, you're the fucking CIA. You know, like, it didn't make sense, and it really frustrated me. And the entire book is just like running away from people. And like, where's the actual like deciphering? Like, where's what, like, the fun of Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons is that there's an actual mystery. There's like an actual mystery. And Dan Brown tries to do that with this random guy who calls himself the Golem. But then there's a twist about who this person is. But even that, and then towards the end, I don't know who that person is. And towards the end of the book, like, I'm really simplifying things because I don't want to be too spoilery, but like towards the end of the book, it kind of feels like, oh my God, we are so proud to be American. Like, can you like, honestly, because like, if it's not America, it could be Russia. That's literally like it. Why is Russia still being the villain in these sort of like intelligence things? Like, Russia is a villain because they're a villain, right? In terms of, oh my God, I'm not making sense. Like, worldwide politics, Putin is a fucking asshole, okay? Like, Russia is fucked. But so is the US. Okay? But it was like, at one point they were talking about the nuclear bomb, right? First nuclear bomb. And I don't know if it's because, let me just put this here so it's in frame, right? I don't know if it's because I misread it, but it was like, well, you know, if it wasn't America who did the first nuclear bomb, it could have been Russia or China, and it would have been worse. I'm sorry? It just kind of felt a bit American propaganda towards the end, I won't lie. And so that kind of felt a bit weird. I was like, okay. So overall, I don't recommend, unless you have read the series and you kind of just want to touch base and see what Robert's doing. I read these books because they're ridiculous and stupid, and they're fun sometimes. And even though it's 671 pages, I read this in 2 days. Not even, actually. I read most of this in one day and then decided to maybe just fall asleep instead of like reading more. Anyway, so that's the Secret of Secrets. I don't know. Someone lied to Dan Brown and said that he writes well, when I don't think he does. I think he needs to go back to the foundations, the core of Robert Langdon books, and make it more of a mystery and that sort of conspiracy situation. And one of the things that I hated was, for most of the book, they never tell the reader what's happening. It's like, oh, can you believe that this is the group responsible? And it's like, just tell us who it is. Like, if the fact that you are withholding information is like, that's not the mystery. Like, that shouldn't be part of the thrill and the suspense of it. Like, that's just lazy writing. Anyway, sorry, that was a fucking rant. I just had me in my feels. So after I read The Secret of Secrets, I was like, well, what the fuck do I read now? I don't know what I'm in the mood for. So I read Problematic Summer Romance by Allie Hazelwood. Babe, I think I might have a controversial take with this. I fucking loved it. I loved it so much. I loved it. Oh my god, I ate this shit up. Yes. Okay. There is an age gap. It's 15 years. Realistically, would I condone this sort of age gap? She's 23. He's 38? 35? 30? Late 30s. I don't know how math works, okay? In real life, I would not condone something like that, okay? That's ridiculous age gap. The power dynamics, they're in two different phases of their life. No. Fictionally, if Allie Hazelwood does it, yes. So in my thinking, because age gap romances I stay away from. I typically stay away from age gap romances like to this sort of extent because of how weird it can become. And I think Allie Hazelwood tried really hard to make this an ethical relationship. So what I thought coming into this, and I think this is why it's taken me so long to read it, is because the relationship is between Maya, between Maya and Connor. So Connor is the best friend of Maya's brother Eli, who was the main sort of love interest in the book Not in Love. So this is technically a sequel. So because Connor and Eli were best friends, I thought that Maya sort of grew up having a crush on Connor, and that sort of like weird, like all of a sudden she turned 18 and now you're looking at her romantically and sexually. Like, I thought it was going to be like that. But what it was more is like, yeah, Connor was the best friend, but Maya did not even think of him. Like, and Connor helped Eli as much as he needed with Maya, like dropping her off and stuff, but they lived very separate lives, and Connor wasn't really around Maya like all that much. So they didn't really have like a friendship from when Maya was a teenager. It all really happens when Maya is an adult. So I think Allie Hazelwood was trying to be ethical about the age gap. Is it super, what's that word? Like, does it work? Kind of. If you like ignore everything else. Like, I think I've said about Allie Hazelwood before that sometimes you need to read them as though they're fantasy novels. Especially like, for instance, The Love Hypothesis. Like, I read that as though it's a fantasy novel in an alternate fantasy world, because a PhD student would never, ever, ever, ever be allowed to go with a professor, and a professor would never be allowed to go with a PhD student. It is just not, it's unethical on so many levels. It would never happen. It's no. even if the professor was not the PhD supervisor, just absolutely not. That is my email. I am technically working. So I kind of she does what she can, Allie Hazelwood. So when Maya is 20, so she's doing her bachelor's degree in Scotland, Connor doesn't even know that Maya is in university and in a whole different like country on a whole different continent, until Maya calls Eli but can't get to him, and is then linked to Connor because the secretary thought that Maya was a sort of business person that they were trying to get in contact with. And that kind of starts their friendship. So actually what happens is over the course of 3 years from when Maya is 20, Connor and Maya fall in love with each other. And that I didn't know that going in. And I think that context is really important. However, I'm not saying it's perfect. Like the day that they see each other after Maya calls, like, you know, when she's 20 and she's in Scotland, an orgasm is had, and I'm just like, why? Connor, why would you do? Anyway. So like there are things I'm just like, what the fuck? And so the context of the story itself is that Eli and Rue are getting married in Sicily, and for the first time in like 3 years, basically, Connor and Maya are going to be in the same place for a significant length of time together. And now 10 months prior to when this sort of story starts, Connor says to Maya, like, we have to cut contact. Like, we're going to cut contact. You need to live your life. You can't just, you think that you're in love with me, but you're not. So throughout this entire book, Connor refuses to allow the idea that Maya actually knows herself and knows her mind, because he constantly thinks of her as too young. Now, does it get a bit annoying? Yeah. But I think Connor constantly being like, Maya, you're young. There's 15 years between us. This can't be sustainable. It's not a viable relationship. He's doing that because he's so fucking in love with her that he's just like fully committed to the idea of being alone, but being in love with her. So I think he does that to push himself away, because he thinks that he's wrong for her because of how problematic their relationship could be in terms of power dynamics and age and experience. So like, I understand why he constantly talks about how young she is, to try and be like, I can't be with you. But at the same time, it's like, can you stop constantly talking about how young she is? And like the people around her, like Eli's and Rue's friends, also constantly talk about how young she is. And she's an adult. Like, she's 23, turning 24. Like, she is an adult. She is like, they're waiting for her to make a decision as to what she's going to do for the rest of her life, like whether that be a PhD or going to industry. So like, on one hand, they're like, so what, are you made a decision about going to MIT or going to that industry? Like, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? Like, they're waiting for her to make this decision, whilst also constantly talking about how young she is to make decisions. So I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. I had a great time. I really liked Maya. I think she was so interesting, so completely knows who she is, but also knows that like, if she doesn't know what her future holds, and that's actually kind of fine. Even though she has fully made a decision as to what she wants to do for at least a little bit. I really liked her. The sexual tension and chemistry between Connor and her, it was insane. It was really good. But it is an age gap. Would I read an age gap like this if it wasn't Ellie Hazelwood? Most likely not. Most likely not. So that was Problematic Summer Romance. And the last book that I finished reading, I read in a day, I read it all yesterday, was this one that I randomly picked up off my shelf because I randomly picked it up at Savers a few months ago, is The Knowing by Madeline Ryan. This is an Australian author. She's actually a Victorian author, which is pretty cool. This takes place in Victoria, so I kind of was able to, I knew the places where the character was going. It was interesting. This all takes place in a day of our main character's life. Her name is Camille. She recently moved to regional Victoria, but she works sort of just out of the city on the eastern suburbs in Armidale. I'm pretty sure, from what I understand, but I could be wrong, pretty sure she lives in Ballarat, the character. And so to get from Ballarat, which is regional Victoria, sort of west, to Armidale in the east, you have to go across the city. Like it's a fair commute, I must say. But she works at like a floral place, a florist, for events. Very high end. They do like celebrity stuff and, TV networks and all that jazz, and hotels. The person who runs the business is named Holly, who is an absolute narcissist. She's horrible. She is essentially a very abusive boss, emotionally and mentally. And sort of the catalyst of Camille for this book, but also just for Camille's like reflection and introspection throughout this entire book, is because she forgets her phone at home. So she has to spend time with herself on the train instead of being able to just disassociate on Instagram or TikTok. So because she's like just sitting there and being alone with her thoughts, she starts thinking about her life and about the fact that she hates her job, but she's too afraid to do anything about it. And I think we all, I feel like this book would resonate with quite a lot of people. It's kind of waking up and being like, is this all my life will be? Like, is this all it is like getting up, going to work, working, coming home, sleeping, going to work, working, And because she hates working for her boss, because her boss is a truly awful person within this like really toxic work environment, she feels stuck. And there's this thing that she says a couple times, that she's too busy slapping herself in the face to like really do anything about it. And it's more like she's just constantly bringing herself down and not believing in herself and just feeling stuck because she doesn't want to change the routine. And so that's the entire book. There's really no plot. It's all vibes. It's just a character study. I will say it was refreshing to read a book like this, which I kind of consider a little bit of like sad girl lit, where like the main character Camille has a boyfriend. I need to look at my emails. She has a boyfriend named Manny, and it was like super refreshing to see that their relationship at no point was like held any tension. Like the relationship was not where Camille felt that she had to change or she felt stuck. Like actually her relationship was really fulfilling her, and she like loved Manny and loved the life that they were building. And I thought that was really wholesome in a way. It was mainly about her like work life and who does she want to be. So I liked this book. I didn't love it. I think it had potential to, but I feel as though it just needed to, needed to be a bit more impactful for me. I feel like it could have gone quite deep, but just didn't. And I'm not too sure why. But I also wonder if it was because of just when I read this, my mood reading this. I wonder if I was to reread it, I would still feel the same. But anyway, the writing was quite nice. It was interesting to read a book based in Melbourne, so that was fun. But yeah, that's what I read. Like, pretty good stack, if I say so myself. So I need to return 2 of these books to the library. Why I didn't do that when I went and got my smoothie and some lunch, I don't know. Because I'm a fucking idiot, most likely. Where am I going to put these books? Put them here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is answer my emails. I've been too busy chatting to you for the past half hour that that I should probably do that. Anyway, I will talk to you later. So it's 9 o'clock and I didn't really do much the rest of the day. I ended up answering emails and figuring out content. I realized that I forgot to talk about like the first assignment, give them enough time to like work on it. Anyway, so the afternoon was kind of busy. A lot of emails. Because I took time off, I'm still catching up with things. So that's what I mostly did today. So apologies for not really like touching in. Let me know if you would actually be interested in watching me do my work, because it, like, academia is quite monotonous actually. Like, it is quite monotonous and repetitive, so I fucking love it, but that's the reality. Anyway, I wanted to do a sort of check-in because last time we talked, I talked about the 4 books that I read across the past few days, and I want to talk about the book that I have started reading. So I forgot to film me trying to make a decision about what book to read, and I keep on forgetting to, so I will try to remember for the next book. But it took so long again to fucking choose a book that I wanted to read because I didn't know what I was in the mood for. So because I read a sort of literary book last, which was The Knowing by Madeline Ryan, I thought maybe I do want to read a bit of fantasy, but preferably a standalone. And I forgot that I got this recently. So this was a spontaneous purchase at QBD, I think it was, when I purchased this book. Was it QBD or was it Readings? Let's just say QBD. QBD is just a sort of book franchise here in Australia. And the book that I got is this one, Honor and Heresy by Max Francis. Now, Max Francis is an Australian author, actually Melburnian. And I found this out purely on accident when I looked up their Instagram, because I wanted to see some like fan art to sort of visualize the characters, because I had these pictures in my head. I'm like, oh, is those pictures kind of correct? And they were. So they're very, very adorable. So this is a sort of like dark gothic fantasy romance. I don't know if it's a romance fantasy romance. I'm not that far into it, so I can't tell you yet, but it's about a man named Roy, and Roy lives in a country within a world where academia and like knowledge seeking and having a career where all you do is kind of like theorize about knowledge and construct knowledge is essentially like on death. So he's part of Northgard, this kingdom. I don't know yet if it's a kingdom, if it's a country, I'm not too sure. But Northgard is run by the governor, who is this like 80-year-old man, and him and his family decided that, for some reason I'm not yet sure because we haven't gotten to that point, that like scholarly research, academia, libraries, books, literally anything that has knowledge or like imagination, I guess, anything that makes someone think, no, we don't allow it. It's the knowledge police, essentially. And the way that the military is constructed and the way that this government is constructed is very different. It's like the military is privatized, but if you want to get, like, if you want your sort of family, your house to be promoted or like be on the sort of like, I don't know, like wealthy side, the powerful sort of class of this of this city, province, kingdom, whatever, you have to make alliances with the governor. So although the governor doesn't necessarily control the military, he controls the military. Like the military is controlled through him regardless, because of his alliances with these different houses who are like their own military generals. I think, I'm not too sure if that's actually how it's constructed, because I'm not far into it yet, so I will tell you, but very interesting. So Roy comes from a sort of aristocratic noble family, and he was found out by his older brother Gabriel that he likes to read, and he's a scholar. I think he's mostly like a philosopher, and from what I understand, because this is labeled like a dark sort of fantasy, there are trigger warnings, and so there is a pinned post on the author's Instagram about like the triggers. Gabriel is abusive towards Roy. Roy doesn't know if Gabriel abused his sister as well. So yeah. But Gabriel's dead. Well, we think he's dead. He was a soldier on the front, and Roy somehow gets found out that he's a scholar. He receives a letter from the governor being like, I know what you do, but instead of executing you, I need your help. So hilariously, the very man who outlawed research is relying on a scholar to do research to hopefully help win the war. So Northgard is at war with the old ones. Do I know who they are? No. So the governor is like, meet me at this place, which is essentially a library, but it's called Orphic Basilica. And I think it's really interesting that the main library that houses all these like forgotten research, forgotten knowledge, and it's like this basilica has attempted to be burnt down many times, but it just won't disappear, it won't be destroyed. The fact that this library is a basilica, I don't know, like the sort of religious connotations, it's just really interesting to me, and I don't know if that's something that I'm just interpreting, or if it's going to become like an actual thing in the book. Anyway, so Roy turns up to this basilica. His mum essentially like, I don't know how to say this. His mum is a sort of governor general, not governor general, like a military general. So she has like soldiers on the front and she kind of strategizes them. I don't know what she does, but she's sort of horrible. I think she's really just tried to maintain power, and the only way that she knows how to do that is to not be a mum and to not really show any care and affection and love to her children. So she chaperones essentially Roy to the basilica and is like, don't you dare embarrass me and embarrass this family. And Roy's like, what the fuck? Poor Roy. And I think Roy can be quite relatable because he's like, I don't want to be a hero. I just want my books. I just want to stay safe. And I know that's privilege and I know that's selfish, but I don't believe in this war. So why do I need to fight in it? Like, I don't care about this regime. It's like against everything that I believe in. But he's here because he doesn't want to die. And he's also thinking like, well, I have access to this library for 6 months. Like, I've been reading the same fucking books over and over again for however long because like there are no libraries, there are no bookstores, they're all burnt down. Why not just take this as maybe an opportunity, and whatever happens at the end, it happens. The governor is very strange, and he's so like unable to see how hypocritical he is, which is interesting. But the problem with this basilica is that it's mentioned by the governor that the people that they've sent in hear voices, see dead people, like basically just it really F's with their mind, and that quite a lot of them have unalived themselves, have committed suicide in the aftermath of kind of being in this basilica for a prolonged amount of time. And Roy's like, what? And so kind of immediately, Roy does, not immediately, but when he is left alone and is walking to his room, well, to a room because he's about to choose a room, he has a bit of a, I don't know if it's like a hallucination or something happens. And that's how we meet the second character in this, named Percival. Percival is also a nobleman, and I'm guessing he's also a scholar. I literally the last time I read, I was just introduced with his character, so I can't really tell you much about him, but this is meant to be a sort of rivals to lovers or like enemies to lovers sort of situation. And I'm really interested to see not only how they become closer, but just the world. I'm interested to see like who are the old ones? Do they actually exist, or has the governor created a war just to maintain his own power? Like I don't know. And I feel also that this is very much a written product of its time. Like we are in the midst of the most intense anti-intellectualism sort of movement that I've bore witness to, and it's coming from leaders and like leadership, like, you know, country leaders, governmental leaders. They're like hoping for an anti-intellectual citizen, because it means that you won't question, you won't be curious, you'll take all the information that is given to you, and that's why they're pushing generative AI. I said it I said it, babe. Okay, so they want the populace to be dumber, because then you won't question, and all you want to do is like maintain the regulatory power that already exists. And I think this is kind of, there's a lot of commentary on that already in my humble opinion. So this is a debut novel and I'm enjoying it so far. It did take my brain a little bit to kind of go into this world, because there is a lot of things that we don't know, but I'm interested to find out more. And I can't wait to get more into it. So that's all that I can really update you with this. I will update you more as I read. I have decided to make this vlog a few days in my life rather than just a day in my life. I want to show you, look at this. Beautiful. How gorgeous is that? It's the basilica. So, and it's got really cool like different chapter pages. Really cute. So I'm really excited to read an Australian author, and it's really funny because the last book that I read was by an Australian author, and I don't typically read Australian fiction. I actually kind of don't like Australian fiction, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm wondering if it's like residual trauma from high school, like having to read Australian authors and just like not enjoying them at all. But I think the only Australian authors that I love are James Islington or Islington. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I love his fantasy. I need to still read The Strength of the Many? Strength of the One? The second book to the Will of the Many. I love James Islington so much. And who else? I don't think there's any. Is Freya Marske an Australian author? I like her. But I don't think I really read Australian authors or Australian fiction. It's like based in Australia, unless it's fantasy. I don't know why at all. I don't know why. Maybe that could be a potential future reading goal. Like try and read a bit more of Australian fiction. Let me know. I'm trying to think. Is Charlotte Wood Australian? I don't know. Anyway, it is 9:16 now. I've been talking for 16 minutes, so I am going to see if I can read a bit more, or I might honestly just go to sleep. I've got my iPad here. We are going to figure out if I want to watch some YouTube. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I have a full day of meetings tomorrow. Like when I say full, I think I have 2 meetings back to back, and then like an hour break, and then another 2 meetings back to back. Great. I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. It is like 9:30. I've been up since 8. I had weird dreams. I had very, very intense dreams. Anyway, we've got a really busy day today, so I'm going to like just get dressed. I would just start my morning in my pajamas and doing work in my pajamas, but I have a meeting at 10, so let's begin the day. Anyway, my dog slept in. If you can't see, my dog slept until 8 o'clock, which is essentially unheard of for him. He's always up earlier, but yeah, my poor darling, he's getting old. Like, he's turning 8 this year, my precious baby. Okay, I'm going to organize myself. We need to lock in, babes. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure I have 4 meetings today. We'll find out. Then we'll organize our to-do list. That's what we're doing this morning before my meeting. Where is my mouse? There it is. I don't want to open up my emails, babe. How many do you think I have? Guess. Put your guesses in the comments. Oh, not much. Only 7. That's actually pretty amazing. Yesterday, was it yesterday? No, yesterday. Yesterday, I had 24. And there were like no emails over the weekend. So they all happened. Anyway, they're not even that important. Okay, so let's first organize the meetings that I'm going to have today. I'm going to write these down in my planner. So let's put my laptop here. And let's connect the laptop to my screen. Okay, so I have as I have otherwise stated, mental health, a bit of it everywhere. So she has been falling behind, but she's still gorgeous. I've really been enjoying just doing random shit in here. Can I show you? Just finding really cool little things in magazines, and it's just really fun. This says, the sticker. I need to get my glue tape refilled. Everything is a win when the goal is to experience. I've just been having a lot of fun. Like random shit. So that's what I've been doing. Look at that. It's just really cool. I've been playing with like stickers and papers. Like, and I've been having a really fun time doing that. Like I just wanted to do the fish. So I did. And then I just put girlhood here. You can't really see. Anyway, so I haven't really been the most on top of my planner this year because of life. And I also think that I've realized that I don't know if I'm going to continue with the cousin next year because I'm not using the weeklies. Different stage in my life. I originally fell in love with this planner because of the fact that it had everything in one, right? But I don't need the weeklies. I actually just mainly need the dailies. So I think it's kind of a waste of pages, you know. Oopsies. So now I'm just writing my meetings down. And typically I would do this the day before, just so I know what's going on, but I was a bit yesterday. So now I'm just doing it. And what's that? So now I'm going to look at my emails. This is essentially what I do when I go onto my desk. I look at my emails and see if there's anything. What is this? Okay. Query raised. I don't have to respond to that. I'm sorry, my love, but you need to submit the work. I don't know what I'm going to write to that. That's amazing though. Wow. Actual lesson plan and prep for like students. That's funny. Okay, I will respond to him. So I need to respond to some people. So let's write that down in my admin work. I try to finish the day with a clear inbox because waking up in the morning with so many emails in the inbox can really like cause so much anxiety for me. So this is what my day looks like. I've got 4 meetings, so I was right. I need to respond to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 emails. And I would like to do some semester 2 prep because semester starts next week. However, I have a full day of meetings. I don't think I'm going to be able to do any prep. Oh, so what I'm going to do instead is maybe just for semester prep, I might just try and do one thing. So I'm going to write, what I'm going to say is finishing week 4 content too much? No, I think I could do it. Maybe not, actually. Well, I kind of only want to add one aspect. So maybe I'm just going to say add sort of like unit planning. Was that unit planning frameworks? Frameworks to content. Outline for week 4. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to try and do for semester 2 prep. Because I don't think I'm going to have much time outside of my meetings. I have an hour break, and most of that hour break is going to be walking my dog. So I'm hoping my morning meeting in like 8 minutes goes quickly. I haven't even looked at the content for that particular subject. Okay, I'm going to do the first thing. So I'm going to answer some emails, I think. Yeah. Hi. Why? What's happened? Peter. Yeah. Good. I would have liked a longer break. I didn't. Well, I only had a couple days off. I had a few days off just this week. I did nothing. I read 4 books. 4 books. Hey. Yeah, good. I'm still like, I can't see you. There you are. Good. So I had my meeting, which went well, and then I am currently doing like a writing session with my friend from University of South Australia. So we're just going to do some writing and then touch base at 1:15. How are you going? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. How are you going? You feel proud of yourself? You've got your head big? Yeah. I'm glad, Mum. I'm glad. Hi, everyone. So I just had 2 meetings. Well, I'm still technically in the second one. We're coming back and doing a check-in at 1:15. So I just need to write this email and then get to looking at data and analysing some interviews. How fun. But I need water, so come with me. We need to get some water. Oh my God. And maybe a tea. When I became a godmother to my nephew, my sister-in-law got me this little cup. It says Lincoln's godmother. Lincoln is one of my nephews. So precious. You can't see, but my dog is right here because he's waiting to go on his WALK. But I have to do work. I'm sorry, baby. Hello, everyone. It is 12:42 in the PM, and I'm planning on working until 1:15, and then I'm having a check-in at 1:15 with a colleague of mine from the University of Adelaide or Adelaide University. I don't know what the name is now because they joined 2 universities together. Anyway, so we're working on a paper together. So I'm just looking at some data and seeing what I can pull out. I'm going to do that until 1:15. We're going to have a check-in, and then I'm going to take my dog for a you-know-what. And that's my plan. And then I have a meeting at 2:30, and then a meeting at... No. Yeah, 2:30 to 3:30, then 4 to 5. Pray that the 4 to 5 meeting gets rescheduled, because it's been a long day already. Okay, let me message my mum back. I'm sorry. Okay. So let me just do this. You can't see, but Hunter is behind me. He's right there. We've done quite a lot of emails. Just need to check. Oh, I need to do 2 more emails. Shit. I should probably do that now. I'm home from the walk. Hunter took a shit, and as I was picking it up, my thumb fully went in. It was fucking traumatizing, everyone. Traumatizing. Now I can't use my thumb ever. That's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. Okay. I have done my 3rd meeting. And I think my 4th meeting has been rescheduled, which I prayed for, bitch. I am also doing pretty good with the content planning. So I think I'm just going to add a little bit more to week 4. And then I think I'm done week 4, and then I can work on the PowerPoints, which I kind of started already. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so that was the activity. And then I'm going to do... I'm pretty sure, see, this is what happens. I just do things, and then I'm like, I'm pretty sure I have, like, I have a syllabus that I need to make sure that I am. Oh, I think the tensions between inquiry pedagogy and explicit teaching needs to be changed to this one. Oh, moderation. I'm gonna have to edit the syllabus, bitch, because I don't think I'm gonna have time. Oh no, we could. I think I'm going ham with this because I think it's gonna be helpful. I might have to like actually get rid of stuff. But I think these are all important. Planning is very stressful. My outline, by the way, for 4 weeks of content is 27 pages. You can never say that I don't work hard. Hi again. It's 7:30 Thursday evening. I haven't checked in with you because my afternoon got kind of busy. I finished week 4 content. Not only did I finish the outline, I finished the PowerPoints, and I did the Canvas content. So I'm thoroughly impressed with myself, because I just didn't expect that I would actually get to do it outside of like all the other things that I was having to do, mainly the meetings. Anyway, I just wanted to talk to you to kind of end this day. I ended up vacuuming the house really quickly because tomorrow my nephews are coming over. We're looking after them. Well, mum is looking after them, but I'm here. But other Fridays moving forward, I'll be teaching, so I'll be on campus. So they're coming over, so we quickly vacuumed, then mopped, because they're crawling around, babe, and they're fast. They're so fast. So fast. So yeah, That's what I did. And I've been reading fan fiction. Does anyone remember Check Please, the webcomic? I've been reading Check Please fan fiction. Out of nowhere, I just had a hankering. For Check Please fan fiction. So if you didn't know, Check Please was around the Tumblr days. I was obsessed with it. It was a hockey romance between Jack Zimmerman and Eric Biddle. It was so cute. It was college, university sort of hockey, and it was adorable. And then it eventually like published, and I have them on my shelves. I'm kind of thinking of rereading them because they bring a lot of comfort, similar to Heartstopper, you know, which reminds me, the next volume for Heartstopper came out. I completely forgot. So I would like to eventually purchase the next installment. Anyway, my plan for the night is to read either fan fiction and or my book. And I'm thinking I might watch Criminal Minds Evolution. I have so many thoughts about Criminal Minds Evolution. Let me know if you'll be interested in my thoughts regarding Criminal Minds Evolution. Hannah and I are watching it, and it's very interesting. There's definitely a difference between original Criminal Minds and Criminal Minds Evolution, just in terms of the writing of each episode. But we're having a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun. I find it really fun. And I think it's also because I do love the characters, even when they're being ridiculous. So that's my plan for the night. I will see you tomorrow morning. Night, friends. Good morning, everyone. It is 9 o'clock on a Friday morning. My nephews are down for their nap. My mum is in the background. I think she's organising laundry. Are you organising laundry?
Yeah.
She's organising laundry. So I woke up to no emails in my inbox for the first time in a really long time. So I'm going to take this time now to do some of the things that have been on my to-do list for a while. So I'm going to go back and see if I've missed anything. What's wrong?
I found a chip in the washing machine.
As in like a potato chip or a...
For the kids.
Oh my god. That's what I'm going to do. I think there's an assignment that needs to be marked, and one of my tutors hasn't marked it, so I might need to do that. But that's my plan for the day. I have a meeting at 11. And I need to walk my dog. Yo, it's been really hard to vlog today because of my nephews. Sorry. I just came from a walk. Look at my acne. So I had a really productive meeting this morning, and I marked that assignment. I did do it. Now what I'm doing is, I think I'm going to continue outlining content for the humanities class. I'm ahead, really ahead. I'm so proud of myself. So I'm going to try and keep that momentum up. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to think of other things I'm supposed to do, but I can't really think of any. But I feel like I'm missing. They're my nephews. I think I'm missing something. Anyway, you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to continue working, and I'm having pizza for lunch. We got some pizza from Safeway, like just frozen pizza. I've put them in my in the oven. I think my nephews need to be going on their nap now, so I might help my mum put them down for their nap. Oh, but I got a pre-order come in. I'll show you that when I put my nephews down for their nap. I completely forgot that I needed to return library books. So we're returning Alloy of Law and The Secret of Secrets. Hunter is coming with me and we're going to drop off books in the library. It's 3:30, so they're still open, but oh my god, I nearly forgot. Hi everyone, it's 7:30 Friday evening, and what I've been doing, I finished work. It was a fine day. I didn't really do much in terms of outline. I ended up, for like week 5 content, I ended up having to organize some admin things that came through over email, mostly organizing meetings for the start of the semester with some students. Anyway, what I've been doing instead is I've been in my planner. So if you don't know, I use the Hobonichi Cousin. I love the Hobonichi Cousin. Last year it just like fundamentally changed my relationship to creativity, and it was amazing. This year, because of everything, just mental health stuff, I haven't really been in it as much, but the beauty of having a book like this is that it's always there. So she is thick. I love it. I use this as for planning, but also it's kind of an everything book. And I am wondering, maybe next year I might separate especially for work, like work planning, and then have something else for like everything, like memory keeping and sort of collaging or whatever I want to do. But yeah, I think I might need to have like a separate work planner. We'll see. Because the beauty of having just one is that I just have one, you know. But this is her, and she's so precious. I love her so much. So much. I love her so much. So what I did today is I did a little spread because I wanted to just have something where I just like memorialize the books that I read over my break. So I did this. I think she turned out really cute. So I just printed out photos of the books that I read using my Canon Ivy, and cut out some pieces of paper, and then just stuck some stickers, and then I wrote like little blurbs of like my thoughts. I really like this. I thought it turned out so cute. Oh my god. I also did just a random crayon drawing. It's not good whatsoever, but I just didn't know what I was drawing, so I just drew some stuff. I think it's houses, maybe on a sort of PR situation with either that could be a blue sky or an ocean, who knows. And then this, because there was an indentation here, so I just drew on top of it and made it like a Polaroid of part of the boardwalk. Is it good? No. But it's not supposed to be good. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and if I'm not good at something immediately, I just don't do it again. And so who cares? That's what I'm trying to do. Who cares? I just did it. Is it good? No. But I did something. And then I did this as well. So I don't know, I just like the layering of the different papers and stickers. And then I wrote just a little something about my little break that I had, and I thought that was really fun. And I have an empty page here that I might do something, because I'm gonna go through, and if something's calling for me to do something, then I'll do it. I've done like random shit. So I had an empty space here, so I got great stickers, so I want to use them. Here, I use my stamps. So I've got like a world map, but then these are maps for like random things. I think animals, I don't know. It's from my sticker book, I forgot the sticker book name, but so I just used it. And then I wrote in my stamps, the world is in chaos, but still I persist. I just thought that was fun. So they're like the random stuff that I stuck in. And then I've done a lot of like, not a lot, I've done some memory keeping. Like here, I took my students to the state library, and the state library has like free exhibitions that you can just like walk in and have a look. And one of the exhibitions is the love letter exhibition. And so we went there and I took some photos of it. And then I went to a restaurant on Swanston Street for the first time called Byung Byung with one of my dearest friends, who's also a work colleague. I'm calling them my dearest friends, dearest friend. I've only known them since like February, but I adore them. And we had Byung Byung for the first time. And if you live in Melbourne, go to Byung Byung on Swanston Street. Incredible noodles, like insane. So there's a lot of like memory keeping. I went to Melbourne Ren Fair, so I did like a spread for that, and I stuck this in as well. It's just like lyrics about Morris, or an educational poem about Morris dancing. So there's like, I got random things, you know, I put in receipts to things, which is sad because like I might need to write what we actually did, or else I'll forget that. Sometimes I just find things on Instagram that I like to print out. Like this photo. Oh God. When I saw that for the first time, I cried. It just really got me. Okay. I have done organizing myself. I'm going to go, and either I'll check in with you later or I will see you tomorrow. Hello, you're in my room again. I am sitting down on my bed with a cup of tea. Let me just put you a bit higher. It's 7 o'clock in the PM, and I spent today spending more time with my nephews because my brother and I cut down some trees that are in our backyard that Mum wanted them gone. So we did as best we could, but I didn't vlog anything today because my nephews were around and I was busy. But I did read some more of Honor and Heresy. I am enjoying it. I will say it does sound like a debut, if that makes sense. Like I know the writing is a bit clunky in some areas, like maybe not clunky, but like the metaphors and similes used are a tad bit overdone. And I love beautiful, sort of poetic, flowery, descriptive writing, but it's just a bit clunky. Yeah, it's like the only way that I can describe it. So that's my only sort of critique of the book. It is a debut though, so Max Francis is flexing their, writing muscles. It's a skill to be developed and practiced. So amazing that they published. I don't quite understand why Percival was so antagonistic on the get-go. So I'd be interested to see if that's explored and kind of like an explanation given, because that would be cool. Roy is deeply traumatized from his brother. So he's kind of going through it. And all he wants is like friends, like he just wants another scholar friend. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around the politics of this world. So I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I'm like fully into it now. It did take me like 100 pages, but I'm there and I'm having a good time. So for the win. I just wanted to also jot down some ideas for my planner. I wanted to kind of sit down and maybe like jot down some potential ideas I could have for spreads. I don't know, that just kind of makes me really excited. And I've got my Pocket Paper Republic. She is in the chestnut. She's so beautiful. I may have marked her up, but I want this to be marked. It is so gorgeous. Originally I was gonna, so this is what it came with, the green string, ribbon, whatever you call it. And originally I was going to change it to like a sort of rose goldy beige situation. So I thought that could be really cute. But when I got it, I don't know, the green really just grew on me. It reminds me of, it's like, it's grounding, you know, it's like, it's nature, it's earth, it's beautiful. And as a result, I've kind of just gone with the green theme. I've got a green pen loop, a green Kaweco Sport, as you know. Have I talked about my Kaweco Sport? Anyway, it's this it's beautiful. It's so gorgeous. And it's so tiny. I love it so much. Yes, that is a photo of Hudson Williams. Don't ask me about, like, I've got so many photos of Hudson Williams and Connor Story in my planner. And I also have a photo of Sidney Crosby, the OG. If you know, you know. So yeah, I have this sort of cardboard cash and card holder, whatever it's called. I've got Sidney Cros, captain of the Pittsburgh Penguins. I found out about him, I think through Tumblr, to be honest, and fan fiction. And then I have these New Year's resolutions from the app CoStar, which is like an astrology app. It was, Hannah and I constantly talk about how weirdly accurate CoStar can be, like weirdly accurate. And then what else do I have in here? And then my mum, for some reason, gave me these. I just keep them. I just think it's funny. And then you get like a certification card from Paper Republic. So I also have that in here. Do I need to keep it? I don't know. Anyway, this is just a Paper Republic notebook. Sorry, I just love talking about journals and books and stuff. And they're plain paper. I love Paper Republic journals, actually. Like, legitimately, I've only got these two, and I've only really used one, so I just added the second one, and I really love their paper. I really do. But it's like, in terms of affordability, it doesn't make sense because shipping is insane. So I stick with my sort of Hobonichi, Salaji, Muji, Midori stuff, but I got these when I got the planner, when I got the folio. So this is literally just, what do I usually call it? Sort of like my capture system, like a catch-all. It's literally just kind of everything. So I have an acknowledgement of country noted here because you never know when you need one, like in meetings, sometimes in, I don't know, when you have guests. I always like to have it on hand. And then I started doing this thing, which I want to continue doing, called the joys, where I just sort of throughout the week write down things that brought me joy. It was kind of cool. I have another Paper Republic journal. And as you can see, Paper Republic pocket journals are not technically A6. They're slightly slimmer and shorter because the notebook behind is a Hobonichi A6. So just so you're aware. So if you do have a pocket Paper Republic and you use an A6 journal, just know that it will stick out a little bit. I don't mind because I love the chunk. Anyway, I just recently put this notebook in because I want this. Well, I had another journal that I thought I was going to use for this, but I realized that I need journals in my pocket to like lay flat, and this one didn't, and it was really annoying me. So I think I want this to be sort of like a manifestation journal, kind of just like a space where I can allow myself to want things. And I don't mean material things, I mean like things that I'm working towards. And I think, I don't know if it's a combination of just who I am as a person, but I'm always too scared of failure to try, especially when it comes to like showing ambition. Does that make sense? So I'm always slightly hesitant, no, maybe not reluctant, cautious, everything, to be like, yeah, I want that. Like, I want to be that. I want to do that. I want to go for that. I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to submit for that. Like, I never allow, like, I'm just too scared. And I think maybe what could help is just having like a little place, a tiny little place, like this notebook, where I can just like, okay, if I wasn't scared, what do I want for me, for myself, for my life? And see if that helps. Like, it's a manifestation journal, but mostly like I'm using it more as like a building confidence in myself and trying to sort of combat imposter syndrome and feeling like I don't belong. Mostly career-wise, you know what I mean? Anyway, so that's that. I haven't started yet because I thought I was going to use another notebook, a whole thing. So tomorrow I might sit down with this and kind of decorate a little like title page, really like make myself at home in this, because I want it to be a little safe space where I can just like kind of be selfish, you know, be the main character. We'll see. And then the last notebook that I have in my pocket is my commonplace. I used to have an A5 commonplace. It was a moleskin, and I was never in it. Like, never. And I think it was because I just found it inconvenient. Like, I wanted something that was slightly more portable, and I always have this in my bag. And I love my little commonplace. I love it. I try and do something in it at least once a week, but there are weeks that I don't, because this is just, again, space for just random little bits of information, things that I find interesting, things that I don't want to forget, lists. Sometimes it really depends. If I like watch something, I want to like note it down. We've got like books I want to read / buy. There we go. Hannah and I are watching Fast and the Furious together. She's never seen the Fast and Furious franchise, and it's one of my favorite movie franchises. So we've been watching them slowly. My mum is hilarious, so I note down some of the sayings that she says. Hannah and I have a bucket list. I watched, which I kind of have that, and then I watched Anaconda. I went to the premiere of that, and then I wrote some notes about some Substack essays that I particularly thought were interesting. There you go. And then what else do we have? I watched the Taylor Swift 6-episode documentary. Wrote about that. Found this by Lena Kaufman on Instagram. She's an artist. Is it Lena or Lenny? So I printed it out here because I understand this. And then I have my episode by episode breakdowns, or like thoughts and excitements over Heated Rivalry. So that's episode 1. Wait. Oh, this is episode 3. Sorry. This was on my second rewatch. I rewatched it in sort of the order of the books, if that makes sense. So I watched episode 3 first, and then We have episode 1, episode 2, episode 4. Sorry, I got confused there. And then episode 5. And episode 5 finishes here. I haven't yet done episode 6 because every time I watch episode 6, and I've watched it quite a few times, I keep on crying. I get too entranced by the show to like write notes as I'm watching. And then I've got another photo that I printed from Instagram. This is from Fab Feminist Art. So look at that. What else do I have in here? I also have this photo in my planner. It's by Christina Coach from April of this year, with the caption, "First braids to leave Earth's orbit unconfirmed." And this photo, and I think for many other people, especially sort of women and girls, it just really fucking hit me. Like it really just, anyway, so I had to put this in here and like a little reflection. And then I watched Heathers the Musical, which I loved. I think it might be one of my favorite musicals ever. So good. And then The Devil Wears Prada 2 I went and saw. And then I have some, this is when I got my new pen, my Kaveco. So I don't know if you can tell, but it's this beautiful green. Oh, it looks really blurry on screen, but it's this beautiful like dark muted green. So just some interesting journal prompts that I found on TikTok. Kind of like a way to potentially structure my manifestation journal. Just getting ideas. 5 ways you know an autistic person is overwhelmed. I wrote those down because sometimes I need reminders that it's because of my brain, you know, and not because I'm a terrible person. So that's what I'm kind of thinking of doing tonight, just to sit down, write some ideas that I could do in my planner maybe, and then read. So I'm excited. I love being surrounded by books and journals. That's literally like, that's the goal. Okay, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And then I will see you whenever I see you. Maybe tomorrow. Perhaps I'll show you some like journaling things that I do tomorrow. We'll see. Hi everyone. So it is Sunday evening. Semester starts back up again tomorrow. I've washed my hair. I am ready for the week. Today was kind of a chill day, but not really. Helped mum do some stuff for like the garden again. And what's up, mum?
Getting a blanket for myself because I'm cold.
Okay.
Like it's just too cold for me.
Yeah.
I'm fucking getting old.
Mood. So it was mostly me doing that and like reading fan fiction and kind of watching YouTube and really just having a day, you know. But I wanted to show you, you know how I wanted to start this journal. I did like a little title page that I wanted to show you because I think it turned out so cute. It's very simple, like it's so simple, but I just love the colors. It's so cute. So the sticker says, "Don't trip over what's behind you." And I just thought that was really nice for what I want this little journal to be. So I'm really excited about that. Sorry, I keep on staring at myself and not at you. I just wanted to show you that I did do this. So I am planning on actually like being in this journal, which is exciting. Anyway, in terms of reading updates, I've read a little bit more because I only started recently reading this today because I was reading fan fiction and just like watching YouTube and having a good time and then helping mum out. what I keep on noticing as I'm reading, I'm still enjoying it. I'm enjoying this kind of like gothic, dark sort of atmosphere that we have here. I like the setting of this library basilica thing. The politics are interesting. We're learning a bit more. We're not really learning about, but I feel like we're closer and closer to finding out like who the old ones are, what's going on here. I don't know if it's my reading brain or like I don't know if something's going on, but it feels like the dialogue between the two characters is a bit everywhere. Like all of a sudden they'll be arguing and like the whole like enemies thing feels a tad bit contrived, because I'm just like, what are they, like what even is happening? Like what's this about? I don't know, I just got, sometimes it's like a natural build up to something and then other times it just feels a bit forced. So, and I get really confused. So that's what I'm feeling right now. At the moment, I don't understand why they're enemies. Is it because Percival is thinking of this like a competition and in order to, in his mind, to survive, he has to be better than Roy? I don't know. It just feels like, you know, anyway, I'm not making sense because I don't know how to actually articulate it, which is stupid. I should have thought of my thoughts and then spoken my thoughts, you know. Anyway, so I'm gonna continue reading. I'm looking forward to the point where we find out like the jaw-dropping moment where like things come together. That's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm hoping for. Because that's kind of where it feels like it's leading towards. So that's my reading update. I don't think I'll be finishing this book today, which I was kind of hoping that I would finish it this weekend, but that's not what's happening. And next week is the start of a new week, so I'm going to end the past few days vlog here on a Sunday evening. If you have any ideas of like potential videos you would like me to do, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one, friends. Stay safe out there. Bye.